And move it to here. I'm just going to tell you the muscles here. You don't have to know them. But you have 6 muscles that move the eye right and left, up and down. Okay, superior rectus, okay, the lateral rectus on the side, the medial rectus on the inside, the inferior rectus on the bottom, which is going to be hard to see. Okay, so you got 4 rectuses. That lateral, medial that moves side to side, okay, superior and inferior that move up and down. Okay, you also have ones that you can roll your eyes. You have the superior oblique on the angle, the tendon of the superior oblique, okay, and then you have the inferior oblique down here. Okay, so it allows you the movement of being able to sort of move sideways and roll your eyes a little bit. Now, as far as the eye itself, let's remove this. Probably the only model we have that's not destroyed. So the white part of the eye is the sclera, okay, and it is going to fall around anteriorly as this clear part. What's this called? The cornea. The clear part of the eye is the cornea. Okay. Now the colored part here, this is part of the middle layer. The eye, when you really think about it, is 3 layers. The sclera, the outside, the white, and the cornea. The vascular layer with blood vessels, okay, that leads into certain structures anteriorly, like the iris. It's the choroid, or the middle layer. Okay, this is your iris. Okay, and what the iris is about is whether you have blue eyes, green eyes, gray, brown, hazel, whatever your eye color is what the iris is. But it's more than that, because this is the pupil, the opening. Okay, in the iris you have the intrinsic eye muscles. Okay, these are extrinsic. They move the eye side to side, up and down. The intrinsic eye muscle responds to light, okay, and changes the pupillary diameter. Okay, so your pupils open up and close down. It's basically the iris muscles, the dilator pupillae and sphincter pupillae, and we'll hopefully get into some of that in class. So that's the pupil, that's the iris. Open this up. The lens, okay, and the lens is going to sit right behind, it's going to sit right in here. Should sit like that. And the lens actually, you really can't see it so well on here, it's probably what those white lines are. The lens is actually held together by the suspensory ligaments. Okay, and the suspensory ligaments, I'm going to do this with you in lecture, but the suspensory ligaments are going to be attached to the ciliary body and the ciliary muscle. So you have the pupil there, and then the light comes through the pupil and hits the lens. Then this big plastic structure here is actually the vitreous body, okay, and that sort of takes up the back part of the eye. Okay, it actually gives shape, keeps the circular shape to the eye. Okay, that's the vitreous. And then the inner layer is the retina, okay, which is the nervous layer. The retina is basically has your rods and cones, rods for black and white vision, cones for color vision. Okay, and this is your optic nerve back here. That's the optic nerve. Now, the optic nerve basically The optic nerve, basically, as it emerges here, this area in here on the retina is known as the optic disc, or the blind spot. There is no vision there. Okay? You can't have vision where something is coming out. Okay? That's where all the axons and ganglion cells are coming out and forming the optic nerve, cranial nerve 2. But that little purple dot there, just above it, is known as the fovea or the macula, and that's where you have your best visual acuity. Okay, so the blind spot or the optic disc is where the optic nerve is coming through in the blood vessels. Okay, no vision there. But to one side of it, you have the fovea centralis, which is in the macula, and that's where you have the best vision. The type of thing that I would ask on this would be the cornea, the iris, the pupil, the retina, something simple. So the only thing that we have to do next week is we have to go over the other muscle model cell and the brain, and basically the following Monday you'll be able to review all of this, plus next week you'll be able to review this. Don't forget that you have the leg on the final. Okay, and then the 20th is your lab test.